Suicide Squad. We watched it. It was a movie.
Yeah.
There was one good thing in it, which was that Margot, whatever her name is, was attractive. Apart from that, it was not great. I didn't really even like the fact that she was wearing those shiny short shorts either. It's like, oh, sexy shorts. Okay.
I think it kind of worked. I liked how it was colorful, I guess.
It was colorful. That was nice.
Yeah, it was eye candy.
It's all that she was. Well, I can't say that's all that she was, but it's most of what she was.
That's most of what the whole movie was. Just bright colors, it's supposed to be fun, but it isn't.
Which other character had bright colors?
The Joker? Jared Leto's impression of the Joker?
That sounds more realistic.
Yeah.
He was I'd say that he's a better Joker than Heath Ledger, if only because he's trying to be the Joker and Heath Ledger wasn't. He was just being a thug with Joker face paint.
How's he trying to be the Joker in this?
He was trying, but he wasn't succeeding.
I love this guy.
Not good.
I don't think they wrote him any jokes.
They didn't. He could have improvised one. Oh, wait, he did. He said, "This bird's been baked." He had
Funny.
that one, he had that other zinger as well, right? Where he's breaking Harley Quinn out, and he says, "We're getting out of here."
That was the height of comedy. I have to admit it. There's never been anything funnier than that line. The entire theater was in stitches.
He really wasn't a Joker. He was a joke.
He was awful.
I really thought he was the worst. I actually found entertainment in Heath Ledger. I liked. I actually think a lot of
Heath
the things
Ledger had times when he was
Heath
okay.
Ledger were funny. Like the situations around the character in that movie were set up to be funny at times. But
I disagree because you're wrong, but yeah.
This one, nothing works to the Joker. He doesn't have any jokes, and he's not even very fun at any point in the movie.
He doesn't even do anything that could be regarded as a practical joke.
No, they have a whole scene where he shoots some guy because the guy won't have sex with his girlfriend.
Well, no. You have to set this up properly.
Yeah, well,
the guy notices Harley and is like staring a bit much, and so the Joker calls Harley over and says, "Fuck him," and he says, "No, she's your girl. I'm not going to do that. Even I'm really restraining myself. But I'm not going to. She's your girl." Yeah, you're right. She is my girl. Bang! Now you're dead. Now that'll teach you. It's like, what?
And that scene was about a minute long. And
that scene was 2 minutes
of time.
That scene was 2 minutes longer than it needed to be.
Yeah.
And it was 1 minute long.
Yeah, it was just completely worthless to the whole movie. In fact, people complain that the Joker's not in it enough. I think the Joker was one of the main problems with the movie. I think very few of his scenes worked. I kind of like the
very few. It's pronounced none.
I kind of like the one where they break into the prison and they're gunning people down in their silly like panda outfits and stuff like that. And that one's
in Arkham Asylum, not when they're doing a prison break at the end of the movie, but in Arkham Asylum.
Yes.
Best to make sure that one's separate.
Yeah.
That bit is okay, but at the same time, he's not telling any jokes.
No. And the whole relationship between him and Harley Quinn was butchered.
It was apparently butchered in editing.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine how it would have been any better with a Joker who doesn't do anything funny.
Yeah. Well, apparently they cut 10 minutes of his scenes out. Maybe those are 10 minutes of just nonstop comedy. I highly doubt it.
The director's cut has all this comedy in it. And, why don't they just do the Joker hour?
Yeah.
I didn't like apart from Margot. I mean, looking at her because she's pretty. In her stupid outfit, which I didn't care much for. They had the classic Harley outfit, and she's like, oh, and she picks it up and she's looking at it. It's like, oh, she's going to do the classic Harley Quinn. And then she wears like punk clothes and shiny shorts. And
she's got all these suits and she just wears that one for the whole
She
movie.
wears almost regular clothes. Yeah. Prostitute clothes. She looks like a streetwalker.
But she's got silly hair
colors.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's about it. And her clothes are bright, I guess.
Well, yeah, they're yeah. I mean, well, she's a streetwalker. She's got to advertise the goods.
Yeah.
Deadshot is apparently some people's other favorite character, but I don't care much for him because he's just an assassin. Oh no, he's got a little girl.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care.
He
murders people for money.
I saw this movie twice. My friends hated it. Like, my other friends I took to this movie, they hated it. I kind of liked it the first time. Like, I was sitting on a 3 stars out of 5, so not great, but there was elements of it I liked. Second time through, I think it's like a 2-star movie now. It's below average.
You're going to give it 2 whole stars? You're going to give it 4 out of 10?
Yes.
That much?
Yeah.
Disgusting. 0 out of 1,000,000. I was the only thing that was worth watching that I could even pay attention to was Margot because she was pretty. I found literally no other enjoyment in this movie. I could not stand the other. I didn't care. No. I shouldn't say I didn't. I couldn't stand them. I didn't care about any of them.
Yeah.
About a third of the way in, it's like, but I don't like any of these people.
Yeah.
And then about at the end, like in the final fight when they're all fighting the bad guy and you know the big bad, and I zoned out, and then Harley was like, "Oop, sorry." It's like, wait, what happened? What did I miss?
Yeah, where she bonks the witch in the back of the head with her club, and it does nothing.
Yeah, baseball bat. It does nothing.
Bat, yeah.
And it's like, oops, sorry. And it's like, oh, I missed something. It was Harley Quinn being Harley Quinn, and I missed it completely because I didn't care.
I think a lot of her scenes, I did like a lot of her like little moments in the movie where she has little quips here and there. Right? But
yeah,
they're the only entertainment like in the whole movie.
Yeah, that's very true.
The rest is just bleak and just
dull.
Really dull and brooding. It's not even very fun.
Yeah. They've got the C-list villains.
Especially
Boomerang Dude.
Yeah.
Climb Man.
Slipknot, I think. He's
Slipknot.
The only one.
Climb Man.
He doesn't get an intro. And
because
he's
gonna die.
They're killing him off, yeah.
You hated Waller in the way that it's like, oh, she's a hateable person.
Yeah. And
you'd like to see more of her because she's so hateable.
She does that so well. She's such a despicable villain in this movie, and they really made her out to be the main villain throughout the movie, essentially. I mean, there's the Enchantress, but
the Enchantress really gets out and starts causing trouble because of Waller.
Yeah.
I found Waller to be visually disgusting. Character-wise, she was disgusting. She literally is on screen worse than Killer Croc. She murders 3 or 4 FBI or something like that, assistants of hers, because they saw classified information. Literally murders them on screen. And because everyone else is fairly filthy as far as morality goes, they're all kind of like, yeah, well, that happens.
Yeah.
We're not clean either.
Oh, that was really gangsta.
Yeah, like, oh, wow. I literally don't want to watch another movie that has her in it because I don't like her. Like her her lips are so big and horrible. They've got lines in them, and I just looking at her lips, which are just, it's like these giant, like it's like one of those monsters that's gonna kiss you or something. It's just like, ugh.
Well, I really liked the movie Precious, so I guess I'm kind of desensitized to that, because you said in the original she's a morbidly obese, like, as well, she's morbidly obese. So, hey, they could have cast the lady who played Precious as well to have played her instead.
I might have hated that less.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, I might have hated that less. I really couldn't stand her for if a Suicide Squad 2 comes out, it's going to be like, well, it's got Waller in it. I'm not going to watch it.
At this point, I can't see DC getting a movie right ever.
Yeah.
If they do, it'll be a shocker.
They can't write, like, the only one they've done okay is the new Batman.
Yeah.
All the other and the new the current Quinn is okay, Harley Quinn.
Yes. Yeah.
All the rest of them are either boring or wrong.
I liked Deadshot on my first viewing. On the second viewing, I think he's acceptable, and the rest of them are just really awful.
Yeah, I don't really care about any. Like, I kind of cared that there was the one who was like, no, I don't want to fight because I'm a pacifist now because I murdered my wife and children.
Yeah.
And it's
that
like,
kind of comes almost too late in the movie.
Yeah, it really does.
Invested in.
Yeah, if he'd been like, no, you know what happened. You know, like if they teased it a bit.
Yeah.
You know what happened. You know what I did. I'm not doing this.
He could have been a better character than Deadshot was, but they gave Deadshot most of the attention throughout the movie.
Well, it was the Deadshot and Harley Quinn show with a bunch of unnecessary extras.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got Killer Croc the cannibal. I don't care. Oh, we've got Boomerang Dude. Can throw a stick made of metal.
I'll say the movie was kind of like, I know people can't see this, but it kind of went like that for me, where the beginning was just really bad, and then it kind of, it kind of won me over a little bit, and then the last fight just, it's back to the bottom again.
The last fight, it feels very contrived.
Yeah.
The CGI of the villain himself. His CGI is good.
Yeah.
When he's actually fighting and winning against various random mooks, it's fine.
Yeah.
The problem is when he's supposed to start missing.
Yeah.
I mean, he can kill just about anybody, and oh no, our heroes have ducked something that no one else even had the opportunity to do, and he misses.
And it's even more apparent when by the way, the Enchantress is even worse for that. Like the guy, her brother, it seems like he's putting up at least a decent fight, but she's standing there watching and waits for him to die before stepping in.
Well, there's a reason for that. She is still working on the Doomsday device.
Oh, okay.
She's busy. I'm busy. You deal with them while I'm busy.
Okay. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, I clearly was paying more attention than I thought I was. But during her fight, she's got the ultimate teleporting power, and she's super fast and super durable, and she doesn't pay attention and gets herself cut with a magic sword that steals people's souls. Harley
Quinn outsmarts her. The witch, this all-powerful witch, gets outsmarted by Harley Quinn, this crazy chick.
Well, that part is kind of okay. I mean, that kind of is okay, but you've already lost me. I mean, you've got an okay bit after you've lost me.
I kind of like when the Enchantress is trying to get in their heads.
Oh, successfully getting into their heads.
Yeah, and I kind of like. I know this was a complaint with some people with Harley Quinn's dream, where she's married to the Joker, and it's just Jared Leto without any face paint.
I like that, because it sort of like is saying the previous non-insane, non-brain damaged Harley Quinn would like a non-brain damaged Joker.
Yeah.
And would like to have family with him.
Yeah.
And be normal.
Yeah. And then
but she can never have it.
And after that, the guy's like, wait, it's all lies. You know, she's just getting in her heads. And Harley Quinn's still like, wow, he married me.
Yeah, I mean, I did kind of like that bit.
It needed more of that. Not enough of that worked.
Yeah.
It was.
I did like that El Diablo was the one who was like, no, I reject this. Yes. I reject getting my family back. I'm bad.
Yeah.
The rest of them are all like, no, I want to have my dream.
That's really his part in the movie where he shines, like from the pub scene onwards. And it kind of makes you wish they'd focused on him a lot more earlier in the movie.
Well, he is really the one with the tragic backstory who wants redemption or at least forgiveness for what he did and did something bad that hurt himself.
Yeah.
Whereas Deadshot, like what he's doing that hurts himself is making lots and lots of money murdering people and trying to support his daughter.
Yeah.
And it's not enough.
And he loses the most to save the rest of them, essentially. He dies to save the rest of them and save the world to get his redemption. So he was really the worst off.
Yeah,
and
he did.
Ended up the worst off too because he died.
Yeah, he ended up. They didn't even pay any. Like they didn't even make it clear that he really was dead. I was like, okay, he's probably just injured.
Yeah,
because there's no corpse.
But he never shows up.
He never shows up again. It's like, oh, he
must have died then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although maybe he didn't, but maybe he did. I'm not sure. Yeah. But it's just kind of like, oh, and then Waller pops back up and
and she still has her cell phone. I'm gonna blow your heads off.
If you don't do what I say, I'll blow your heads off. Now watch while I grab my phone and palm the screen like a
her
moron.
Fingers are almost touching the screen.
I guess it's true what they say. Black people don't understand technology. I don't know who says that. You know, not only is she utterly irredeemable, but she's also black. The racist hour.
I got an actual chuckle out of that, so I have to leave it in. Yeah, there was elements I liked, but they're so few and far between, and the rest of the movie is just completely botched in every way. Especially after seeing Star Trek, where they pulled that sort of thing off really well. The banter's
spot on.
Yeah. If this had like Joss Whedon writing the dialogue, it could have saved it.
It's the new thing. Joss Whedon and Quentin Tarantino can save the worst movie from being bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that must be the case because, I mean, I watched a cowboy movie. I don't watch cowboy movies. And I was riveted. And I was shocked when it was almost over.
Yeah, and if anyone else did it, it would have been the most boring movie ever made.
Yeah, and it just would have been awful.
It was so fun.
It was so fun. You were so interested. You cared about every character. Even if you just wanted to see them die like that horrible bitch Dominic.
Yeah.
But if other people doing these movies is just terrible.
And this is a premise that sounds fun.
Oh, it sounds okay at least.
It's so boring.
It's dull.
Dull.
They picked the worst villains. I guess because they have to say the good villains.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they couldn't really use Batman's villains. A lot of them. Because, well, the thing is with Batman's villains, like Penguin.
Yeah.
He's a penguin guy. His main strength is that he's got minions. Two-Face, his main strength is that he likes to flip a coin and that he's got minions.
Yeah.
Catwoman, who's just a thief. She doesn't kill people.
Yeah.
She'd be terrible for this movie. All of them are sort of like Poison Ivy. How are you going to get Poison Ivy to work alongside you in this way and not expect her to be using her powers to grow poisonous plants along the entire path just out of sight? She's a biological hazard. That's like putting let's just use the anthrax bomb to clear the terrorists out of this building. Yeah. Anthrax is overall fairly safe.
You know, this movie's premise, like it's an easy movie to make it very digestible to appeal to like the dumb masses, but it's a really hard one to actually do really well, to make it really a really quality movie. And they didn't even hit they
didn't even make it
acceptable.
Literally a third of the way through the movie, I said to myself, I don't care about anyone except the Enchantress character is possessing an archaeologist woman. That is the only character I actually felt bad for.
Yeah.
She's manipulated into falling in love with a fairly decent looking and decently capable special forces guy.
Yeah.
And I don't care about him.
By Waller too.
That is set up by Waller. She deliberately set that up so they'd have control over her. But I did not care about him. I cared about the woman who was effectively enslaved by the Enchantress.
Well,
that was the only character I really cared about.
She's one of the only, like, nice characters in the movie. Like, even the guy who's in love with her is an asshole for most of the movie.
He's an asshole. He has to get along with these people, and he's going to be a dick about it.
He doesn't turn around until the bar scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, finally.
Yeah, in the last 20 minutes of the movie, I mean, sorry, you've already lost me.
Yeah. It almost won me back over, and then there's the last fight scene.
If they had put that bar scene halfway through the movie, maybe at the 1 hour mark, just after the 1 hour whatever thing they do that's really big and exciting, because they always do a big and exciting thing at that point.
Yeah.
It would have been fine, or if it was, they had a bit of time. It would also have been nice if El Diablo got his, this is why I am doing it, or, they hint that he actually has a tortured past in some way better earlier on. And it was about him. I mean, he's a Hispanic, a racist would shorten that to spick. like Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Now
those were some good movies.
Oh, those were fun.
Yeah.
No, he's not as big name an actor, but I think it would have been better for the movie if it was more about his problems than about Deadshot, the assassin who wants to get billions. He gets $2 million for one hit. $2 million, but he can't raise his daughter on his own. He needs $35 billion to do that. Why does he need so much money?
Yeah.
And the average person apparently makes something along the lines of something like less than $5 million in their entire life. 5 regular jobs should give him enough money to be set for life if he's good with his money, and he can still have a real job on the side. Well, I'm going to continue being an assassin instead of raising my daughter properly.
And they're living in a really crappy place too.
Gotham,
no assets to show.
In Gotham,
yeah.
Move out of Gotham, move some other place, like New York or something.
Maybe
anywhere
all of
else.
His money goes into really fancy weapons and stuff.
Well, it does. Like I mean, a lot of it's got to, but I mean. You get your payoff, and then you stop.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you've got to be making some money.
If his daughter's that important to him, they'd have a nice place, and she'd be... He wouldn't have to worry about getting her sent to university. And
keeping her out of the hands of her prostitute mother.
Yeah.
Like, the mother's a prostitute, and you're an assassin. Do the math. Yeah. You don't want one thing, you want another thing, and you're an assassin. And you can set up shots where you're nowhere near the target.
Yeah. He gets the most attention, yet he's still underwritten, and what's written for him isn't written well.
And even the bits that are written well, which are, they're okay, I guess.
Yeah.
He's too dumb to, your problems are solvable.
Yeah.
But you're too stupid.
And he's got crazy tunnel vision. His main goal in life is to kill Batman.
Or to shoot things, actually. It's more, he's, let's do some geometry, Dad. I'm such a genius that I don't do Pythagoras well.
I like that scene a bit.
Oh, well, it's just silly. Like shooting bullets.
Yeah.
It's I would have liked that way more if it was way more complicated math.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is like she's actually like if she was actually doing like 10th grade math in like 8th grade or like 12th grade math, and he's like, oh, this is really hard to understand. But what you've got to do is, I think you've got to, and his daughter's actually
joke about that too.
Yeah, but I would have liked it if it was harder math.
Yeah, if it actually was that kind of math.
Yeah, and he's like, oh well, so she comes up with, oh, it's kind of like if you shot a bullet from the rooftop and it has to drop. Oh yeah, but it would actually divert into this course, and you can calculate it out this way, and blah blah blah. I would have found that more fun.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. That would he actually can do university level math as long as it's about bullets.
Yeah, that would have worked better, but I still do like the core of the joke.
The core of the joke is fine. It's just that the joke wasn't far enough.
Yeah.
What do you call a person who's late for work every day? Late. That's not really funny.
No.
What do you call a person who's late for work every day? You have to be a little bit extreme.
Why did the chicken cross the road? Because.
Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. I mean, like, lame jokes.
Yeah.
The villains looked cool. I liked how the villains looked. Yep. That part was fun. It was better than in the Batman v Superman, whatever that monster, Apocalypse
the
or Doomsday. That's what it was. They're all the same. Doomsday, Apocalypse, Armageddon. Who's next? Horseman number 1, Horseman number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they looked better. They were visually distinct. She had the green color. He had the orange color. He was a giant, massively muscled, cool, like semi-attractive looking fire elemental type deal. Yeah. She was more the etheric. What would it be called? Wayfish look.
Kind of like I kind of got a seductress. Sort
yeah,
of
well, there was supposed to be the seductress, but it was like she isn't the big voluptuous giant hips, narrow waist, big tits type of look.
Yeah,
she was the thinner look, but she did her job quite well. I mean, as an actress and so on and so forth. But like the also the special effects on the monstrous effects were really bad. The bad guys looked like coal monsters, like literally animated piles of coal.
Those were so boring too. Like they're slicing them up, and you wouldn't think a scene like that could be so boring.
Dull, but they're just black lumps of like sort of wet coal.
They're like Silent Hill creatures, but minus the creepy factor. So there's not.
Like their heads are just like they look like boiling plastic.
Yeah.
And all of the effects of like, oh, there's some of the residue left over from when the bad guy was fighting the various militaries and stuff, because apparently the military's not as good as the Suicide Squad somehow, which doesn't really make sense considering that they're barely paramilitary strength at all. But all of the effects look like they're made out of plastic, and it was like, oh, that's weird. Yeah. They have plastic manipulating powers somehow. They turn you into a plastic person.
Yeah, and even the black like sludge they leave everywhere.
Well, that looks like plastic.
It does.
It is. It's like, oh, they've got plastic powers. That's literally what I thought. It's like, oh, the bad guys look like wet plastic or maybe coal or oil and coal, and then the effect they leave behind is plastic. They're environmental damage monsters. They're causing environmental collapse. No, not really. I'm just that's more interesting than what it really is.
I found a lot of the lingo with Deadshot or Croc to be way too gangsta.
He's incredibly black.
It's really annoying dialogue. They say stuff like, "Oh, that was so gangsta," and
I don't even remember that. I must have zoned out.
Maybe not quite like that level, but
it could have been. I might have zoned out.
Yeah.
I mean, I really for long stretches of this movie it was like my brain turned off. Like in the middle of the final fight, my brain turned off.
There's one scene that I found kind of funny that you absolutely despise. That's when they give Deadshot the whole arsenal of like loaded weapons.
Oh, that scene.
It's like, oh, you players must be jokers. You know, and it's like landing every shot in the same spot, which is completely impossible.
It is literally impossible.
But
Superman might be able to do it to a certain degree because there is innate inaccuracy in every firearm. This is something that most people... Just let me finish. This is something most people don't know. Every firearm has innate inaccuracy. Where you point the target, it will not always hit. The bullets deviate a little bit, the barrel wobbles, the action jiggles it. But even if you clamped it down as best you could, it would still not be perfect if you were firing it full auto.
Yeah.
And he's putting each one in the middle of the forehead every time, and he actually fires it so many times that it knocks the way through the target, which your targets wouldn't be able to do. It wouldn't work that way. You may dent it, but it wouldn't go red hot.
Yeah.
Especially not not
from just a little bullet.
Yeah, and it's just that whole scene was just...
I thought it was self-aware, though. I thought it was supposed to be that silly sort of comic book thing, or like Bullseye from Daredevil.
It wasn't played as a funny thing.
No, it
was... They played it straight.
Yeah, but it's kind of like I think you're supposed to get that it's unbelievable and it's so preposterous. And
I don't know if that's true.
From the trailer, it seems like that's how the whole movie's supposed to be. But it's dragged down by the seriousness.
I think most people are too stupid to... No, I don't think that, not really. No, but I think most people don't use firearms. And like a lot of people who at least will be watching this review do not use firearms to the point where they would know that that is a fact. Like
that might be true.
I've fired firearms where you point the target at the same point both times, and one time it hits the top and one time it hits the bottom. And it's like you've got a grouping.
Yeah.
You know, you've pointed at the same point and you got a grouping that's 2 inches round.
Yeah.
And that's not even at that extreme of a distance. Like, that's at similar distances. You got a bigger grouping than that with certain firearms. And, you know, it's just like, oh, you're going to give the guy with perfect accuracy who can make insane trick shots a bunch of loaded weapons so that he can, you know, not shoot you, but just shoot the targets like a good little boy.
I'm not sure if it was like that in the comics. That might be something they carried over from the comics. Like, maybe he always hits like exactly where he needs to hit every single time.
Well, it's entirely possible, but it's just like this...
Car alarm.
Car alarm, goody.
Yeah.
You have certain expectations out of a movie that they'll make some things more realistic in some ways that are kind of necessary.
There's definitely tonal inconsistencies in all of these DC movies.
Yeah.
They go one way and then just they jerk right back to like the main tone of the movie.
It would have been way better if all of them were wearing ridiculous stereotype comic book villain get-ups, like Deadshot. I don't know. I don't remember what Deadshot's costume is.
It's kind
but
of
if he was doing like, you know, oh, he's like Deadpool. He's wearing a lot of bright red with a target on him or something. So, like Bullseye, I guess that's what he looks like.
Just his mask is white instead of...
Yeah, well, he's got a white mask. I mean, that's fine. I don't mind that. You know, you're wearing a lot of black, but it's vibrant red and you're colorful.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got a Boomerang guy. Looks like he's from the Australian outback. You know, actually looks like he's from the Australian outback instead of like he's just regular guy.
Yeah.
And Harley Quinn, she should have worn the uniform. Really should have.
Yeah.
It would have been better.
She does for a few seconds, just for like...
Well, no, she picks it up and she holds it up against her body like, ooh, do I look sexy in this? And then she puts it down and wears hooker clothes.
There was a weird scene where like her and the Joker are dancing with like a black background for like a few seconds where she's in the Jester outfit and he's in like a suit or something.
Yeah. I mean,
but other than that, no, she's not in a Jester outfit at all.
Yeah.
And she looked like Harley Quinn in the Jester outfit. I think that would have worked perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're supposed to be villains. They're not supposed to be, like, well, I guess you're going for the super serious, but you put Batman in the full bat suit instead of the armored climbing Novex, whatever it was from the previous Nolan movies.
I know you haven't seen this movie, nor do you plan to. But it should have been done like Deadpool was. I know they were probably being made around the same time. But
okay, if they'd gotten rid of the raunch comedy, the sexual comedy, I probably would have been perfectly fine with it.
If they cranked the violence up to like an R rating and didn't have dumb alien things, it would have been fun.
Yeah. You know, you can still... They're all possessed. They've got some energy field around their head, and there's no way to dissipate it apart from killing them.
There's a bit of raunch in this one for a PG-13, and it's not comedy. Like, I guess that scene, that terrible scene with the Joker killing the guy. They're in like a strip club, but it's a PG-13
Oh yeah,
strip club.
it's PG-13.
And
yeah,
he is offering her forced sex with this guy.
Yeah, but that's she's not. She doesn't actually strip for him right there, and it feels like Deadpool. You know you know, there's all there's the sex scene in Deadpool.
Yeah.
Oh, pegging.
But it is so over the top that it is funny.
I get that you enjoyed that, but I wouldn't have enjoyed that.
It's played for laughs, actually.
Yes. I'm aware that it's played for laughs.
Yeah.
But I would have preferred it if they had gone for the more ultra violence. These people actually are a danger to society, because they aren't in this movie.
It feels like it pulls its punches since it's going for the PG-13 right
Yeah, like Killer Croc is supposed to be a cannibal.
Yeah.
If these dead bodies were all like he comes across a dead body and he just like there's some dead woman and her baby and they're all going, "Oh, this is so horrible." And then they're walking along and hear this wet fleshy ripping sound. I just bring a snack and takes a bite. No sense letting it go to waste.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have to take the arm off the baby. It could be the mother or something like that, but it's just like the rest of them are all going, "Ugh." And, you know, Killer Croc's, you know, "Oh, yeah, a snack."
It'd make for a good, like, black comedy with how, like, diverse their
a black comedy is what they should have done. But they didn't decide to do a black comedy. They decided to do a generic, dull action film. And it doesn't work.
With really bad drama elements.
It's dull drama.
Yeah.
Dulma.
But I think we've torn this movie apart as much as we need to, really.
I will give it... Margot is pretty. I will give it 1 extra point for having her being pretty. I score things out of 10, just so you know. I don't give them. I'm not giving it like he would 2 stars for having a pretty girl. For that, and for having the poor tortured form of the whatever her name was, the archaeologist, and actually a villain who I would have liked to see a better rendition of. A villainous pair I'd like to see a better rendition of. I will give it an additional 2 points off my base rating, raising it to 2 out of 10.
Well, this movie reminded me a lot of X-Men Apocalypse, but it wasn't as bad.
I didn't watch that one, so I couldn't comment on that. So
you're not missing anything.
So you're giving it a half star.
I'm X-Men Apocalypse.
4 stars out of 10? 1 star.
I have to give it 1 star because the cinematography is really nice and the writing isn't all that awful, but everything else is... Well, and there's one entertaining scene in that movie where Quicksilver's saving everyone.
You're talking about X-Men.
Yeah, I am.
Here I am thinking you're giving 1 star to this movie. You can give it 1.5 stars.
Yeah, maybe after talking about it so much, I will drop it down to 1.5 stars because there is a lot of problems with it.
It deserves that.
Yeah.
It deserves your hate, your rage, and your ire.
Yeah.
It does not deserve your money. It is the perfect movie to pirate if you want to see what all the fuss is about.
And those people you're hearing crying about how like, oh, it's such a overly hated movie. It really isn't.
You couldn't hate this movie badly enough.
The bad reviews are deserved.
Yeah. They say Batman v Superman is bad. Batman v Superman is better.
I think I'd give Batman v Superman a pass.
I never zoned out in Batman v Superman.
I was at least invested.
Yeah. There were bits that annoyed me in Batman v Superman, but I was never at the point where I was like, no.
I think... we already talked a lot about Batman v Superman.
Yes, we did. We're not talking about that now.
Yeah.
we're just doing that as a contrast. Yes. Yeah. I don't think there's anything more I can say about this movie without wanting to slit my packages open so I can get at those delicious snacks from the lobby.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to pop some pills
so that you can have some pizza.
Dairy. Yeah, some pizza.
Yeah, because you're lactose intolerant.
Oh!
Although I gotta hand it to your husband, it has been a really painless shoot, even though the movie's gonna be a piece of shit, am I right?
What?